Hey there, lovely people. Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. This is episode 9 of our Watanagashi chapter. Let's go ahead and load up here. When we had last left off, I think we just found out that Tanaka and Tomatake had been killed. And we had a big fight with Shion because we were like, hey, who's going to get spirited away next? And the obvious answer would be us. So I don't know if we're going to be talking to her in this chapter, but we kind of screwed things up. There was no way I'd be able to sleep. When checking off the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who the only ally who would support me was. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms. Though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. Damn it! Slapped myself in the face a few times. I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. I usually don't wash my face. I just go to school all oily and effed up. It wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. I also don't usually brush my teeth in the mornings either. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide. Are you going somewhere today? You brushed your teeth. No, we're just a terrible friend. I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning. And for precisely that reason, Reina's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes. Oh, Reina, you're so good to us. Mion looks kind of worried too. Mion had gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow. Mion's like a party girl all of a sudden. I've done that before. I've stayed up late watching anime, reading manga, and being like, wow, this is really good. I can't sleep now. I joked, trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mion nor Reina smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Reina's expression immediately darkened. Oh, that's right. The mirror is missing. I remember. Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed filled with a different sort of murmur today. I was gonna say, I hope we don't have a senile mayor. That would be a terrible choice for a public representative. I lost Rika. How cute. Getting lost is only cute because children like Rika-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moe in the slightest. When my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats. So maybe the old man, the mayor, is the one who got spirited away then. Because we assumed that there were going to be 2 people spirited away because 2 people were murdered this year. Every year it's 1 and 1. 1 person killed, 1 person spirited away. This year we had 2 murders, so we're assuming it's like a double trouble kind of thing. Good morning. Class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy.
すでに聞いている方もいるかもしれませんが、昨日の夜、村長さんが夜遅くになってもお家に帰ってこなかったのだそうです。皆さんの中で昨日村長さんを見た人はいますか?
When her 2 hands went up in the silence and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves.
もしも村長さんを見かけた人は大人の人に教えてあげてくださいね。それでは授業を始めます。
After that, the same old lessons began. I mean, maybe we're safe. Maybe we're getting off scot-free. Take the old man. Spare Keiichi. The rumors, once quieted, blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the Shrine's Assembly Hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late, and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. Left no stone unturned. They searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells and even in the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. The police were going to wait for daylight, then have the young men of the town help search. If after all that they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now, at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. Or they searched in vain. The more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. That's right. Rumors of Onikakushi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Yoshiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? That scary possibility, which everybody thought about but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Yoshiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. But it did happen, kids. We had 2 people killed. I, on the other hand, I knew. Curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. May sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than him. 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. Tomitake-san and Takano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been me and Shion's turn next.
今度こそ俺かシオンの番なのにな。
I laughed painfully to myself. I'd yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up in such a terrifying situation, but I acted like a total dillhole. Now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onigofuchi, the bottomless swamp, said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing its depths even now. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspected Onigofuchi, but not once had they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish, bottomless swamp from which no one thinks can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom.
そういえば、サトシさんがいなくなったのも去年の今頃だったね。
So Satoshi is Satoko's older brother. He disappeared last year for the last festival. Huh? Satoshi? Heard that name before. He was... Right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly.
サトシさんの時も確かこんな風に村中で探したんじゃなかったっけ？あれも見つからなかったんだよね。あれって結局どうなったんだっけ？確か鬼隠しじゃなかったんだよね。鬼隠し？うん。貯金を全部下ろして家出しちゃったんだって聞いたよ。警察の人が 名古屋駅で新幹線に乗るところを見た人がいるとか言ってたもん。
He didn't get on a train. He got demoned away. Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a corpse that couldn't be found. Not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. They may have had various understandable reasons, but they still disappeared. From that point of view, it really might have been a demoning away this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help to resolve anything.
今日は味の加減を間違えちゃったみたいだね。ごめん。
Seasoning. Oh, did she cook us some food? Normally Rita would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. It wasn't because Reina's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though.
そんなことありませんのよ。レナさんのお弁当は今日もとっても美味でしたよ。
Satoko dips her chopsticks into Reina's bento box and pulls bits of food out, one after the other.
おいしいおいしい。今日も格別でしたよ。
Chomp, 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 chomp.
あれそれかぼちゃのコロッケだよ。
Pumpkin
大
croquettes.
丈夫？
Does she not like pumpkin
レ
or
ナさ
something?
んのかぼちゃならとっても美
If
味しい
it's
ですわ。
your pumpkin, then it's delicious. Double entendre. Did Sadako just like pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. I like pumpkin-flavored things. Hi, I'm very white. I like pumpkin spice. That's my thing. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoko kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was. Oh, so the reason Reina didn't eat is because she's not hungry because she's worried about the mayor. Got it.
そんなにうまいなら俺もいただかないとな。このままじゃ全部サトコに食われちまう。
あんまりにも美味しいので、ぜひケイキさんにも召し上がってほしいですわね。
She hates it.
たまには俺も年上らしい寛大さを見せないとな。よし、遠慮するな。今日は俺の分まで食ってよし。
she hates it. She's forcing herself to eat. She really hated pumpkin, didn't she? Made it all the more touching to see Satoko's own brand of generosity. Grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoko, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face.
嘘だよ。そんなにうまいものを譲るほど大人にはなれないよ。レナも食え。俺のは夕べのおでんの残り物だが、おでんは一晩経ってからがうまいんだぜ。
お大根が綺麗な色に透き通ってて美味しそう。じゃあいただこうかな。
Reina reached out with her chopsticks, and at last the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desks, however. The dark tales of Oyashio-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashio-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashio-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse suddenly stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheeks to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashio-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, it meant I'd also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target. We gotta go talk to Shion.
あいつのお手洗いってこんなに長いのか?
Mion had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet.
多分どっかでお昼寝してるんだと思う。ゆうべはきっと遅くまで村長さんを探すお手伝いをしてたんだと思うから。
Smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no-good day. I just transferred here recently, so the shock of our curse happening 5 years running was an unimaginably big one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that.
村長さんはね、 ちっちゃかった頃、みーちゃんのことをすごく可愛がってくれたんだって。いたずら盛りのみーちゃんをすごく可愛がってくれたって。
When she was going through her prankster phase? She's not still going through her prankster phase?
よく話してたな。
Because I feel like we still get pranked pretty often by our friends. I see. Mion was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. The sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Satsuko, if she should come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
そういえばリカちゃんも遅いな。ひょっとしてリカちゃんも仲良くお昼寝か？
Oh, where's Rika? Come eat lunch with us, Rika.
リカはそんなに遅くまではお付き合いしませんでしたわ。リカがあくびをしたら皆さんみんなしておやすみなさいませおやすみなさいませって。
Oh, that's right. She's part of the head families too. She's part of the Furude clan, so she must have been out looking for the mayor too. Now that you mentioned it, there were a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that?
リカちゃんって何気に年寄りのアイドルだな。理想の孫娘像ってやつなのか？
そんなの知らない。でもリカちゃんの
I
あ
want
く
to
び
see
なら
Rika-chan
見てみた
yawning.
い。
How?
きっとね、ふわーって
It's fwa. No one who's ever yawned in the history of ever has made the sound fwa. That is not a yawn sound. It's probably fwa.
そんなに可愛いとも思いませんけど、ふわーって喉の奥まで覗けるくらいの大あくびでしたよ。リカちゃんの大あくび。
Reina's handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh, right. I'm on day duty today, aren't I? Need to go water the flower garden. Garden is right outside the teacher's lounge, too, so they can immediately tell you if you don't do it right.
リカちゃんのだけじゃなく、さとこちゃんのも可愛いと思うわ。
Giant yawn.
窒息。ちらっと見えた。可愛いの見えた。さとこちゃんのあくびも可愛い。お持ち帰り。
No, Reina, that's kidnapping, honey. We talk about that every episode. Reina was strangling Satoko. I don't think that counts as yawning. You know, Reina is... I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious... censored, isn't she? Sweat. Wonder what that censored word is supposed to be. Hearing Satoko make a weird noise like a chicken being strangled was kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh. What was the censored word? I wonder if, like, it's a censored word in English or a censored word in Japanese. At some point, the classroom had erupted in laughter, too. Maybe Reina was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcome sight. Anyway, let's get over to the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroyed the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing as so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have a school share the space, they built one here as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all around. It went all over the place. So big, one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. Oh, I hated doing that. I just dragged my hose when I need to water the flowers. What am I, like, living in medieval times? I need to use, like, a freaking watering can? No. I use the hose. I was doing this together with a kid who was also, thankfully, on day duty today. She was in the lowest grade, though, and a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. Couldn't make a kid who would struggle just to lift a full watering can help me with this. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone they liked, they'd do it all for you, so it'd be cake.
悪態をついても仕方ないな。諦めて仕事を始めるか。
Help the baby water the flowers. Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me.
兄ちゃん、倉庫裏に菜園があるだろ。だいぶくたびれかけたぞ。あそこにも水をやってあげな。
Fine, I'll just do everything.
あのカレー菜園ですか？じゃがいもとか人参とかカレーの具しか栽培してないっていう。
It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in her personal affairs. I couldn't say that to his face, though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. Fine, I'll just do everything. Saying that out front was strong. great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Reina and Satoko were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring while everyone was cheering them on. Fight! 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 Kick her ass! Yeah, that's how it should be. When school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the elder's disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, Sadako's whirling elbow and Reina's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Cage match between Rin and Ryugu and Satoko Hojo. I'ma beat your ass. Even if as a result they flipped over my desk. Ah, it's my pencil box. Ugh, I just thought it happened today. Where's the teacher while these kids are beating the shit out of each other? Hello? Teacher Chie. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner had I thought than I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too.
めんどくさいが、やらないと後でいろいろと不利益なことがありそうな気がする。
I gave up, filled the can with water, and headed behind the warehouse. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pillbugs being around. Ugh, slugs. Yuck. When I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. Rika?
Rika-chanか。驚かせるなよ。
Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my appearance.
Rika-chan?
Maybe she's a lot more upset about the mare than she let on. Finally, she noticed me. Her expression was clearly abnormal. I've never seen her make the serious face before. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. There were blades of grass stuck in her hair too, and her clothes looked as though she'd fallen to the ground.
Rika-chan?
Did someone beat up my Rika-chan?
ひょっとして怪我したのか？転んだとか？
Did someone beat her up? I will smack a bitch. Don't touch my Rika-chan.
違うのですよ。違うのです。
Rika-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal, though.
何があったんだ？
I will mess someone up. Don't touch my
まさ
Rika.
か倉庫の屋根の上で昼寝とかしてて落ちたとか？
僕のことはいいのです。それよりも、圭一に聞きたいことがあるのです。
Okay. Rika. Rika-chan walked over and clung to me. At first I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run from the question she was about to ask.
俺に、なんだよ。
Uh-oh. Looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me, as though they were trying to pull out the answer out of my own eyes without actually asking me the question. It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers.
圭一、お祭りの晩に何か悪いことをしましたか？
Now Rika's grilling me? It's not my fault. My body gave a jolt from its very core. Not my Rika. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going up my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain.
圭一、本当に覚えはありませんか？
My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Mion asked me. Oishi-san asked me. Shion asked me. And now Rika-chan was asking me. We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact everyone knew? They all knew, and they came to ask me. Again and again, until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tamatake-san and Takano-san's deaths prove it?
圭一、
How should I respond? We never should have entered the forbidden storehouse, and even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? However, I had all decided what I was going to say. Tell Rika the truth, man. You can't lie to that face. Just tell her.
俺もそこが悪いからな。悪いことの覚えが多すぎて見当がつかないよ。
That is the lamest excuse. Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rika-chan stared up at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rika-chan released me.
変なことを聞いてごめんなさいなのです。忘れてくださいなのですよ。
Now we lied to Rika-chan, she said, smiling her usual smile. No, come back! Oh my god, tell her the truth. Then tap, 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 tap. She went running off as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me.
Rika-chan.
Run after and tell her. She didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Come back. Rika-chan swiveled around and waited for me to continue. I was the one who had questions now. Still, asking any of them could just be a half-assed way of admitting what I did.
なあ、Rika-chan.
はいなのです。
If everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening. Had I done something that wrong? I felt plenty sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything. Really. Still, Tomitake-san and Takano-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would forgive only me. Rika-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion, waited for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, though, she might suddenly do a 180 as if flipping a switch. She's a child. She's a cute little girl. That would make sense. Rika-chan was the shrine maiden. She was the least likely to forgive me for breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Oishi-san? She's our friend. Just tell her. Rika-chan, she could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi Maibara. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Of course, it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way Tomitake-san and Takano-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. Juice wrung out of it, turned into big droplets of sweat, which began to fall.
Keiichi.
Rika-chan suddenly straightened up, trying to pat me on the head.
ケイイチが何を悩んでいるのか、僕にはよくわからないのです。
I had nothing to say to that. Lowered my head just a little so that Rika-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me, kind of like someone would a cat. Tell her the truth.
少し行ったところに大きな倉庫があるのをご存知ですか？西宮殿と言いますです。
Right, we knew that. That's the storehouse we broke into. My breath literally stopped. Rika-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coercive way at all.
お祭りの晩、その西宮殿に猫さんが入り込んだのだそうです。
猫?
Yeah, a cat? Is that like supposed to be a metaphor for something?
猫さんです。にゃーにゃーなのです。
Rika-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so that she wouldn't scare me.
猫さんは前から西宮殿の中を探検してみたいと思っていました。でも僕が意地悪をして中を見せてあげなかったのです。なので祭りの夜、猫さんは我慢できなくなって中に入ってみましたのです。
Are we the cat? Or is she talking about somebody else that went into the storehouse? Because we didn't know anything about the storehouse until the night of the festival. So when she's saying that I was mean to the cat and never let it go inside, is that us that she's talking about? The cat. It was clearly supposed to be there we go. It was clearly supposed to be Takano-san. Or wait, was it supposed to be me? I think it was Takano. She was the one that was super interested, right?
猫さんが怖がるものがたくさんあったのです。
Rika-chan made a cute gesture like a ghost was coming out to frighten me.
猫さんはびっくり仰天。一目散に逃げ出して、ガタガタブルブル、ニャーニャーで大変なのです。
にゃーにゃー。
その猫が誰だって言うんだ？
猫さんは猫さんです。にゃーにゃー。
Yeah, yeah. Rika-chan still avoided saying it. The cat, though, was without a doubt. Okay, so I am the cat in this situation, okay. I was just wondering, because the way she phrased it made it sound like it was Takano.
頼む、教えてくれ。その猫さんはこれからどうしたらいい？
Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I had sort of admitted to being the cat.
猫さんは猫さんですから、にゃーにゃー泣いてるだけで大丈夫です
I
よ。
love Rika. See, I knew she'd be cool to us. She wants to help.
大丈夫って、そんないい加減な。
にゃーにゃー泣いてるだけではダメなのですか？
Jeez. Rika-chan and I put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. I didn't say it directly, but I'd already admitted it. I didn't want to end up like those two. So when she says the cat should just keep meowing, is she essentially saying, like, don't say anything about going into the storehouse and keep it a secret? Maybe she knows something. I didn't want to be a sacrifice like Shion said. That's what I thought, so I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough.
泣いてるだけじゃダメなんだ。猫さんがいたずら心で忍び込んだのを犬
さん。
そうだ、犬さんなんだ。猫さんのところへ代わる代わるやってきて忍び込んだだろうって問いただしてくるんだ。
After I said that, Rika-chan's expression clouded over. So who is the dog? Is the dog supposed to be like Oishi or Myung? She's trying to hide it, but I already noticed her eyes darkening.
Rika-chan.
Silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rika-chan grinned.
大丈夫ですよ。猫さんは僕が守ってあげます。
I love you, Rika. Huh? Thought for a moment that I had misheard those words, so dependable they were.
猫さんはとても怖がっていますが、何匹かの犬さんがきっと勘違いしてるだけなのだと思います。
Are they just misunderstanding? Maybe they're misunderstanding the fact that, like, I had no idea what we were doing, and I just wanted to watch the Rika-chan dance. And instead, we were pulled in there by, some terrible adults.
猫さんの心配しすぎなのです。僕がきっと何とかしてあげますですよ。
Rika, you're so good to us. Rika-chan will do something about it? I don't even know left from right at this moment, so Rika-chan didn't look all that dependable.
ちょっと大変ですけど、頑張りますですよ。ファイト、オーなのです。
Meow meow. She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. Rika-chan said that the cat could just keep meowing. She had to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing?
本当にRika-chanで
So,
大丈夫なのか?
So Takano-san and Tomitake-san were killed because they entered the storehouse. The rest of the village and Detective Oishi is looking for the other people that broke in with them, and Rika-chan says that she's going to protect us. Does that mean she has something to do with Tomitake and Takano-san's death? Because how else would she explain it to the villagers?
僕が頑張らないと、犬さんも大変なことになってしまうかもしれないのです。
Like, she's got to be involved in it. I had no idea what Rika-chan was talking about anymore, and she is one of the members of the head family, so you would assume that she would have something to do with people being murdered or spirited away for Watanagashi. She'd been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first, I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was, do not worry, and leave it to her. Rika-chan straightened up once again, patted me on the head, and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start to cry.
ごめん。猫さんも本当にちょっとしたいたずらのつもりだったんだ。こんなことになるなんて全然。
We were coerced. We gave in to peer pressure.
臆病すぎです。だから見せたくなかったのです。
She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why they made it so difficult to look at in the first place, wasn't it?
リカちゃん、その猫さんはどうなるんだろう。忍び込んだ2匹の猫さんが そのあの晩に
I'd heard Tomitake-san and Takano-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it.
富武と高野ですか？
She knows. Gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names. Though it's weird to do at this point.
忘れると良いのです。
My spine froze again.
忘れる？
はい。あの二人のことを思い出すことは、圭一にとって良くないことなのです。考えれば考えるほど怖くなるだけです。だから早く忘れた方がいいのです。
So she is involved in some way or another. She knows who died. It's only been a day. The police haven't released the information, and she knows who the dead people are. She's something so enormously terrifying without letting the smile on her face waver at all.
どこで聞いたかわかりませんが、きれいさっぱりお風呂でゴシゴシするみたいに忘れちゃうと良いのですよ。
忘れるって言ったって、リカちゃんは知ってるんだろう。あの二人がどういう死に方を。
Yeah, Takano was burned alive in an oil barrel, and Tomitake clawed out his own throat with his fingernails. That's pretty worrisome.
どんな死に方をしても、それは圭一とは関係のないことなのです。
Rika declared this in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me. So forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable and even seemed trustworthy, but suddenly she took on another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Keiichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me.
Shion.
Did we just give something away? Did she know about Shion?
あいつはどうなるんだ？
Might have been dangerous. Yeah. He was just like, well, it wasn't just me, it was Shion too. Is she gonna die a horribly painful death? Might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point.
姉妹猫の妹ですか？にゃーにゃー。
Nya nya.
そうだ。妹猫だ。
Rika-chan appeared to think about this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence.
姉猫は怒ってます。妹猫が悪いことをしたので、とても怒ってます。
姉猫って。
So that's Mion? I can only mean Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday.
圭一、姉猫はとても機嫌が悪いです。しばらくの間、そっとしてあげてほしいなのです。
Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad. She was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse.
今日から部活はなしにしましょう。
なんでだよ。
そっとしてあげてほしいからなのです。
Rika-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. Hey, Keiichi Maibara. Don't disobey Rika-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cat should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything like she said. Forget everything about Takano-san and Tomitake-san and what I did that night. Just then we heard a bell far away, marking the end of our lunch break.
じゃあ校舎に戻ろうか。
圭一、
If she had noticed how miserable I was, about to leave everything to her and flee the scene, Rika-chan called out to stop me.
勘違いの犬さんが猫さんに噛みつこうとしたら知らせてくださいね。
Misunderstanding dog. She put it in such a cute sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one.
勘違いの犬さんってなんだ？
Are we assuming that it's Mion?
村長を噛んだ犬さんです。どうして村長を噛んだのか。噛むならいたずら猫さんを先に噛むはずなのにです。
The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rika-chan had admitted it. The sacrifices of that terrible calamity, she admitted that if it were to happen again, it would be Shion or I. I didn't know it was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear and nearly began to change into anger. Was she a savior who would protect me? Or a stranger, trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? So, the mayor did get demoned away. But why? I had no idea what was true.
ごめんなさいなのです。猫さんが怖がっているのに、また怖がるようなことを言ってしまいました。ごめんなさいなのです。
Rika-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. Still, she was right, I was cowering. I could distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rika-chan reached her hand out to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking. Oh, Rika.
ごめん。
Rika-chan made a very sad face, but I just couldn't put myself to put out my head for her again. Oh, Rika. That day, Rika-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities, so she suggested we don't bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Reina and the others seemed really disappointed. Big Sister Cat is not in a good mood. I remembered Rika-chan's words and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I can forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. I would like to know what happened to Rika and who put their hands on her, and I have a strong suspicion that it's Mion. And if I find out that Mion put her hands on my Rika, things are going to get real ugly real quick. She's the only one that was missing at lunch, and Rika said that she's in a really bad mood and she's really angry. So I wonder if Rika was like trying to defend us and she got the shit kicked out of her. Ooh, I'm upset. After dinner, without the energy to watch TV, I climbed into the futon in my bedroom and let my head be overtaken by gloomy thoughts. I told Rika-chan everything and anything. She had seemed trustworthy at the time, but had that really been the right choice? When I looked back on it, the less I understood what Rika-chan was saying. Not only did she know about Takano-san and Tomitake-san's deaths, but she spoke of them as if she were a concerned party. After all this time, in my futon, I began to tremble fiercely. Had I been lured in by Rika-chan's sweet smile and told her things I shouldn't have? Should have continued to feign ignorance. Shouldn't have shown her such a weak side of me. I don't believe it. Not Rika. My emotions are a mix of regret and fear, and they colored the darkness of the night with an additional layer of terror. Suddenly, a knock. I might have yelped. How surprised I was.
Keiichi, さっきから呼んでるぞ。電話だ。
Uh-oh.
園崎さんから。
Which one? It was Dad. Reached out for the cordless phone through the gap in my door.
園崎さんって
Yeah.
どっち？
Which one is it?
姉？妹？
そんなのは知らん。自分で出て聞きなさい。
Dad. Thanks, Dad. Took the receiver and buried myself in my futon again.
もしもし、ミオンか？シオンか？
私です。
Oh, Shion.
シオンです。こんばんは。
Practically jumped out of bed. It was Shion, who I hoped so desperately would call me back last night.
シオン！ゆうべはすまなかった。つい興奮して。
Heard what sounded like a deep sigh on the other end.
俺もシオンも同じ立場なんだよな。一方的に責めるような言い方をして悪かった。もうしない。謝るから機嫌を直してくれ。
機嫌を直したから電話したんです。後悔したなら許してあげますから。もう謝るのをやめてください。
Okay, good, because she's the only other person we could talk to about this. Shion's tone still sounded a little angry, but for the moment she said she'd forgive me.
ケイちゃんの言うように、私たちは運命共同体なんです。互いの無事の確認が自分たちの安全の唯一の保証なんです。
ああ、それについては同感だ。
だから私たちは互いの知っている情報を共有する必要があります。高野さんたちみたいな死に方をしないために。
Gulp. Forced myself to swallow a solid drop of saliva. Should we tell her about Rika?
では、昨日
I don't
の
think we
続きを話
should.
します。
At least not until we know like exactly where we stand with the dogs of Hinamizawa Village. I don't know if we should involve Rika in this.
もう怒らないで聞いてくれますよね。
ああ、大丈夫だ。
まず、私たちが思っている以上に、最後殿に忍び込んだことは禁止、タブーだったみたいです。
Takano-san and Tomitake-san's miserable ends. Terrible enough that you can call them a warning, or more enough than to make me believe that.
犯人たちは最後殿を怪我した首謀格のあの二人を殺し、次に私たちを
Right, we knew that. We knew they were going to come for us next.
否定したいでしょうが、これを認めてください。失踪してから認めてももう遅いんですよ。
分かってるって。用心に越したことはないからな。
私も本当は認めたくありません。あんな拷問道具の博覧会を覗き見したことがあんな殺され方をする理由になるなんて絶対に信じたくない。
That's what a taboo is. Those who honor it, if one breaks the taboo, no matter how small or innocent their intentions were, they wouldn't be forgiven.
互いに何か気になることがあったら報告し合いましょう。互いの持つ小さな断片を合わせていけば、ひょっとすると高野さんたちを殺した、いえ、今年の事件に限らない、過去の連続事件を解決する鍵が見つかるかもしれません。
そうだな。確かにそうだ。
I don't think we should tell her about Rika. We talked to her in confidence. All I was doing was waiting in fear, but Shion had already thought that far ahead. Given how trustworthy she felt, I became embarrassed over how passive I was being.
では、まずは言い出した私からいきます。最近、誰かに監視されているような気がします。
Someone's been watching me.
え？
と言っても、気のせいかもしれません。でも、一応報告します。今は気のせいだと思っていますけど、もしもケイちゃんも同じように、誰かに監視されているように感じるなら、これは気のせいじゃないのかもしれませんから。
I don't think we've been having a feeling of being watched. We've been getting a lot of questions from people, but I don't think we've been watched by anyone.
そういうことなら安心しろ。少なくとも俺の方は大丈夫だ。
I think. I spoke with Shion and I thought back on today. I had no grounds to say that everything was fine.
そうですか。では気のせいということにしますが、ケイちゃんも注意してください。特に一人で表を歩くときは細心の注意を払ってください。私は沖宮ですから、一人きりになることはそうそうありませんが、一人ぼっちになることも多いはずです。特に注意してください。
そうだな。ああ、気をつけるよ。
Right.
それからお姉なんですが、何か変わった様子はありませんか？
Well, she was acting normal. She was very tired today, but Rika said that she's super pissed.
お姉ってミオンのことか。変わった様子ってどういうことだ？
先日、私、お姉に渡流しの夜の所在について問いただされました。
え？それは俺もだよ。一昨日かな。ミオンに聞かれた。
やっぱりですか。私は言ってないと答えました。ケイちゃんは？
同じだよ。ごまかした。
Both of us gave a quiet sigh of relief.
渡流しの晩以降、お姉の様子はおかしいです。用心に越したことはありませんので、注意してくださいね。
Mion was acting strangely. Aside from her asking me about the night of Watanagashi, she hadn't seemed too out of the ordinary. At least from my point of view. Her twin sister, though, was saying she was acting weird. Maybe it was such a slight change that a stranger like me wouldn't be able to notice.
わかった。
If she's acting normal at school, she was just really tired today.
少し用心するよ。帰り道は必ずレナも一緒だから、二人きりになるってこともそうそうないしな。
用心してください。気になることがあったら教えてくださいね。
わかった。
では、ケイちゃんの方では何か私に話す
I
ことはあ
don't
り
think
ま
we
せん
should
か？
tell her about Rika. Do not tell her about Rika. My turn. That's right. Maybe I should report on Oishi-san asking me the same question at the library.
あ、ケイちゃんが逃げ遅れたあの時の話ですね。
ああ、大石さんにかなり強い口調で聞かれたよ。 あの晩高野さんたちと一緒にいなかったか、シオンに会わなかったかって。大石さんは俺たちが4人一緒にいたところを見ていたようだった。
警察にしてみれば高野さんたちが最後に会った人間
Right, I remember him telling me that.
私たちに興味を持つのはある意味当然でしょうね。
こっちもごまかしたけど、かえって興味を持たれたかもしれない。
There was no way I could have tricked that sly old fox, Oishi-san. My troubled countenance would have only made him even more certain.
なあ、シオン、警察なら行っちゃってもいいんじゃないのか。むしろ俺たちの状況を思えば、警察を味方につけるのはプラスだと思うぞ。
Shion didn't answer right away. For a few moments, all I could hear was her breathing as she thought about it.
そういえば大石さんはミオンに何らかの嫌疑があるなんて言ってたような気がする。
Right, he told us that she was going to be the leader of the Sonozaki clan and that they're essentially like organized crime bosses.
確かにそう言ってた。
昨日も話しました通り、園崎家はhinamizawaに強い影響力を持っています。大石は一連の連続開始事件を園崎本家が中心になった村ぐるみの犯行だと疑っていますから。
Well, I mean, they are one of the head families, and we already know that Rika is involved on some level. That's not too much of a stretch.
村ぐるみの犯行?
Please, don't get angry like you did yesterday, and just listen. I hammered that home before I got too upset.
hinamizawaのダム闘争の時、リーダーシップを期待された神主があまりに日和見だったので、園崎本家が首謀閣になって決起したんです。戦いの歴史についてはお姉から聞いてますよね。
ああ、hinamizawa全体で一丸となって戦ったんだろう。デモをしたり、裁判に訴えたり、テレビに出たり。
実際はもっともっと過激なこともたくさん行われたんです。園崎本家が水面下で様々な違法な抵抗活動を行ったと言われてます。
違法な抵抗活動？
例えば夜中に建設現場に忍び込み、機材を盗んだり壊したり。
Okay, so they're doing like a sabotage thing of the construction site.
角砂糖を入れたりとか。
Got it.
ガソリンタンクに砂糖？なんでそんなことを？
知らないんですか？戦争中にフランスの地下組織なんかがやった典型的なゲリラ活動ですよ。砂糖を入れるとエンジンが焦げついて壊れちゃうんですよ。
That's pretty bad though, isn't it? It was destruction of property and nothing less.
建設現場への監視が強化されると、今度は工事の重要な立場にある人間への攻撃に変更されました。例えば工事を認可した役人たちには様々な脅迫が行われました。それは県庁の役人だけでなく、建設省の偉い役人にまで及んだそうです。聞いた話では子供の誘拐まで。
Oh, that's a new one. They kidnapped a child. Like, we knew about the murders happening. The construction foreman was murdered and chopped into pieces, but we didn't hear about the kid.
誘拐？
ええ、建設省のhinamizawaダムを担当する偉い人の子供が神隠しにあったんですよ。で、ある日突然hinamizawaのもっと上流の高津戸の山中で保護されまして、犯行声明はなかったって言われてるんですけど、ダム工事を中止するようにとの脅迫があったのではないかとささやかれています。他にも枚挙にいとまがないほどの脅迫の話があります。
それは確かにちょっとやばいな。
そんな最中だったんですよ、第一の事件。現場監督のバラバラ殺人があったのは。
Right, we knew about this. They just dismemberment of the construction manager. Yeah.
園崎家が主犯格の男を買収したのではとささやかれてますが、何しろ今日も逃走中ですからね。
When you put it that way, the Sonozaki family definitely seems suspicious.
犯人も口封じで消したんじゃないかって大石は思ってるみたいです。当然ですね。身内である私ですら園崎本家の暗躍があったのではないかと思ってるくらいですから。
それを俺に信じろってのか？ミオンの園崎本家がそんな悪いことをやってきたと信じろというのか？
It doesn't seem too good.
ケイちゃんが信じなくても 村人たちは信じてます。自分たちが綺麗な抵抗運動をする陰で園崎家が汚い抵抗運動をしてくれた。自分たちの矢面に立って戦ってくれたんだってみんな思ってます。ですからちょっとしたダークヒーローとして崇められているんですよね。私が知っているのは本当に一部だけだと思います。例えば誘拐なんかの特にヤバい話は当主のバッチャを含めほんの数人しか知らされてないと思います。園崎家は秘密主義ですから。
秘密主義か。
It made someone forthcoming that even Shion, who was related to them, doesn't know everything about them. The Sonozaki family. Unlike Shion, her elder twin Mion was deeply involved with everything. That was not a fun thought to entertain.
そういった違法な抵抗運動の中心として年少ながら活躍したのがお姉でした。
ミオンがどういうことだよ。
Does that mean that she was responsible for, like, ordering the dismemberment too?
うちのお父さんヤクザの大物ですから、年少のお姉でも若い柄の悪いのを何人も従えることができました。で、様々な嫌がらせや妨害をやってのけたんです。
ミオンが
今はなんだかのんびりした雰囲気だから想像もつかないでしょうが、器物破損から脅迫、暴行まで一通りこなして何度も補導されたんですよ。子供ですからすぐに釈放してもらえたみたいですけどね。お姉は自分の年齢が武器になることを知ってたみたいです。
No kidding. So Uishi-san was right. Her dad is Yakuza, so she's like Japanese mafia. May have been indiscreet, but I couldn't help but chuckle dryly. She may have been young, but she was certainly still Mion. Even back then, she'd already been known for her craftiness.
笑い事じゃないです。真剣になってください。
悪い。そんなつもりじゃ。
Shion had gotten pretty angry at me.
まあ、そんな不良娘だったお姉もいつの間にか園崎本家の中心。大石がバラバラ殺人以降の事件を疑いたくなる。
Right, that's what I was thinking. Like,
まあ無理ないことです。
how involved was she in killing that construction foreman and dismembering him, even though she was young? For a few moments, I was dumbstruck at the tales of Mion's past. None of them matched the image I had of her. A younger Mion, dirtying her hands with all sorts of crimes, giving the damn construction project hell. As the successor to the Sonozaki main family, she was always right at the center of the vortex of strange incidents occurring year after year. Was that really the Mion I knew? Maybe the one I know isn't the real Mion. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't bring myself to accept these images of Mion I was hearing from another person.
まあ、話を戻します。お姉が注意に値する存在であることは理解してもらえたと思います。注意してください。
Didn't want to understand. Mion was a fantastic friend. She'd never do something to back me into a corner like that. She did ask me pretty harshly about the night of the festival, but even that, not like she said it in a mean way or anything. She was a little bit threatening when she asked us.
気をつけるようにするよ。
私とお姉は血のつながった姉妹ですが、園崎家にあってはまるで格が違うんです。私とはとても遠い存在だということを認識してください。お願いします。
So, Mion lives at the main house with Grandma, and she's trained to be like the head of the family. And I guess Shion is like the black sheep of the family, and she's not involved in the crime at all, because she didn't even live in Hinamizawa. The more Shion tells me about Mion, the less I understand who Mion is. Mion I know wasn't a dangerous person. She joked around, smiled a lot, and was full of passion. Now that I realize it held such a view towards her, Shion was telling me to change it. To be careful around the best friend ever. To doubt her. The idea was very sad and painful.
で、大石の件ですが、ケイちゃんがいいと判断するなら、必要な情報を与えてもいいと思います。
I don't like Oishi. I don't want to give him anything.
やはり警察を味方につけるのは、私たちに有利に働くと思い
No,
ます。
because then if we tell him all this information, he's gonna like throw Mion in jail.
やっぱりシオンもそう思うか。
ただ、今説明した通り、園崎の人間はそもそも警察に睨まれているんです。特に大石は、園崎家が丸ごと連続事件の黒幕だと決めてかかってますからね。それはもちろん私も含めてです。ですから、私はあまり大石には関わりたくないんです。
Right. I see. If Oishi-san had found out about the Sonozaki family's strife-filled history, then He probably wouldn't be very happy with Shion either. Last I understood Mion's instinctive dislike for Oishi-san.
どうせバレてはいるんですが、一応私の名前を伏せておいてください。それだけ守ってくれれば、大石には何を話しても問題ないと思います。
わかった。
So we're just gonna blab about the Sonozakis and we're gonna like get them all jammed up?
伏せるようにするよ。
警察の捜査
I don't think that's
力
the
は
way to make friends with
今
Mion.
の私たちにはとても心強い武器になると思います。大石が興味深い話をしたら、私にも聞かせてくださいね。
ああ、もちろんだ。
I don't like him. I don't like
情報は
Oishi.
互いに交換し、研究し合おう。高野さんたちを殺したのは誰なのか、そして俺たちを狙うのは誰なのか、それが分かるまで俺たちは自衛しなくてはならない。
あとはありますか？大石に聞かれたこと以外は、身に起こったことはどんな些細なことでも教えてください。
Don't tell her about Rika. Aside from my discussion with Oishi-san? Oh. Should I tell her that I revealed everything to Rika-chan? Rika-chan was acting like she knew something I didn't. Told me to leave it to her, but what? Ah, that's right. I was talking to her, I mentioned Shion's name too. Was that a mistake? I felt like Shion would get angry.
何もないんですか？ケイちゃん？
I remained quiet for a little while, so Shion encouraged me to speak, unable to bear the silence.
あ、
As I struggled with what to say, Shion addressed me instead.
ないようでしたら、私から聞きたいんですけど、私もついさっき聞いたんですが、君吉のおじいちゃんが行方不明になった。
Right, Kimiyoshi is
本当ですか？
the mayor and the head of the third family in Hinamizawa. We have the Kimiyoshis, we have the Furudes, and we have the Sonozakis. So he went missing yesterday. The old man Kimiyoshi? My gut told me that was the name of the mayor.
村長さんのことか？なんだシオン、聞いてないのか？
何も知らないです。お父さんが電話でそう話してるの、また盗み聞いただけですから。
I realized I shouldn't have said that. Here in Hinamizawa, the things that happen around this time when Oyashiro-sama's curse would occur, that would all be covered up.
ああ、実はな、昨べ会合の後、家に帰ってこないとかで南沢中で大騒ぎになったんだ。村中で探したみたいだけど、まだ見つかったって話は聞かないな。警察も探してるはずなんだけど。
なんでそんな大事な話を先にしてくれなかったんですか？
Why are you screaming in my ear? Shouted angrily at me, bringing all her emotion to bear.
悪い。もう知ってると思ってたんだよ。隠す気なんかなかった。
Receiver was silent. Did Shion get mad again and hang up?
おい、シオン、もしもし？
ケイちゃん、私、どうしよう。
What? Shion's tiny, confused voice sounded like it belonged to a different person than the one yelling a few seconds ago.
どうした？話せよ。俺たちの間で隠し事はなしだろ？
Does she know something about the mayor that we don't? Shion hesitated for a long while, but then she confessed.
ごめん、隠すつもりはなかったんです。ちょっと言うのが前後したっていうか。
俺たちは仲間だろ。怒ったりしないから正直に話せよ。
Shion still hesitated for a few moments. Then in a resigned voice, she continued.
私、君吉のおじいちゃんに
Oh, snap.
打ち明けたんです。
Shion seemed to think I would yell at her right after she said that, so I heard her catching her breath. Contrary to what she thought, I was a little relieved. Shion did the same thing I had when I confessed everything to Rika-chan. So in a gentle voice I could, not to set her off, I responded.
君吉のじいさんってのはシオンにとって相談できる心安い人なんだろ？
So, Shion confessed everything to Kimiyoshi and he went missing. We confessed everything to Rika. Does that mean something's going to happen to her?
はい。
Is this like retribution for like keeping it a secret from the rest of the village?
私のことを小さい頃から本当に可愛がってくれて。
Shion felt the same pain as the rest of us from the mayor's disappearance. She had a different kind of strength from Mion, and as she continued, her voice sounded truly sad and pained.
私、いつも意地悪なことをしてたのに、いつもニコニコと笑って、私の言うことは何でも聞いてくれて、 本当に優しい人だったのに。
Like, that's his only involvement in this whole incident, is that Shion confessed everything to him, and I guess he didn't tell anybody else.
落ち着けよシオン。
So maybe because of his involvement in, like, a roundabout way, he was spirited away too.
別に
But
死ん
then
で
that
し
could
まったわ
happen
け
to
じゃないだ
Rika.
ろ。そんな簡単に諦めるなよ。
Shion didn't answer. Even as I said it myself, I didn't think we'd ever find the missing mare again. We probably wouldn't even figure out if he was alive or dead. Shion must have been thinking the same thing.
村長さんに私最後でに忍び込んだこと、誰かにそれを見られてて私たちを狙っている人がいるって。
村長さんは高野さんたちがまともじゃない死に方をしたのを知ってるのか？
はい、知っていました。あの二人がお社様のたたりで死んだから、私はその怒りを鎮める生贄にされるんじゃないかって本当に率直に言いました。
ああ、それで
君吉のおじいちゃん怒らなかった。そしてにっこり笑って、シオンちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら鬼隠しになんかなるものかって本当に笑いながら任せなさい。
That's exactly what Rika said. Rika said leave it to me and don't worry about it. Until Shion stopped sobbing, I was unable to find any words for her. Couldn't imagine what kind of person the mayor was, nor what Shion's relationship with him was like. Words of comfort, however, mean so much to us when we're about to be crushed by anxiety. Today, Rika-chan taught me that too. Someone who gave me such a sense of security were to disappear, then I could guess what kind of shock Shion was in.
私のせいです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。
But we did the same thing.
よせよシオン。
I told him to do it. I urged him on. I said tell Rika everything.
シオンのせいじゃ
Now
な
I
い
feel
よ。
like a dick. Oh no.
私のせいなんです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。君吉のおじいちゃんが
Oh, shit.
殺されてしまったに違いないんです。だって打ち明けてすぐなんですよ。打ち明けて大丈夫って言ってくれたその晩に消えてしまった。
Oh, that's exactly what Rika said. He found out, so he became involved.
話すんじゃなかった。これは全部私たち4人の動画だったはず。3人に話してはいけないことだったんです。話したから殺されてしまった。だから殺されてしまった。打ち明けたから殺されてしまった。
おい待てよ。そんなやつなら打ち明けた村長を殺す前に
Hey,
お前から
you
先
should
に
be the
殺す
dead
に
one.
決まってる
They
じゃ
would
ない
have
か。
obviously killed you first.
順番が違うよ。殺されるなら俺がシオンが先。他の奴らが先に死んだりするものか。
順番はあります。私たちを一番最後に殺すつもりに違いないんです。
は？なんだって？
人を思いに殺さないで親しい人たちから順々に殺していって散々悲しい思いをさせた後に殺す、そういう狙いに違いないんです。
I mean, I guess that could be it.
落ち着けって。シオンは今ショックを受けてパニックを起こしてるだけなんだよ。村長の失踪はシオンとは関係ない。無関係だ。高野さんたちの死とも全く関係ないんだ。
The words came out as a scream, as if I were shouting them at myself.
関係あります。絶対にそうなんです。私が話したから殺されてしまった。
She is like frantic.
だから殺されてしまった。打ち明けたから殺されてしまった。
She repeated the same thing as before, as though she were in delirium. Despite my trying to console the crazed Shion, for some reason, the shadow at my feet began to freeze. From that shadow, a cold arm reached out. So cold it seemed like it would freeze even my heart just by touching me and grab my ankle. The heat generated by my body, the arm was absorbing it. It was a horrible chill. Freezing cold, numbingly frigid. It was an inviolable chill of fear. Though I sympathized with Shion, I had been naive in thinking it was something only she had to worry about. In my head, Shion's eerie words repeated again and again. He was killed because I told him. Keiichi, honey, you take far too long to figure things out, babe. He was killed because he found out. I confessed everything. So he was killed. Those words echoed through my head like a monotone mantra, and finally, those even repetitions took on meaning. The quiet shaking that had already overtaken me turned into a violent shiver that shot up my spine.
Rika-chan!
Rika-chan, I told everything to Rika, so now she's gonna die.
今なんて言ったんですか？
俺も実は打ち明けたんだ。リカちゃんに今日。
リカちゃんってリカ様のことですか？フルデ神社のリカちゃま？
I just wanted to watch her dance. You brought me into that storehouse, and now here we are.
打ち明けたんだ。リカちゃんに。
そうしたらリカ様はなんて？
She said, I'm going to take care of everything. The cat is worrying too much. I'll do something about it for sure. That's what Rika-chan said, and then she smiled. She smiled just like the missing mayor when he encouraged Shion.
ごめん、シオン。俺ちょっとリカちゃんのことが心配。
はい、そんなに心配でしたらぜひ電話を。安否を確認してみてください。
Yeah, let's go to Rika-chan's. Let's call her. Let's do
そう
something.
させてもらう。
また明日もこのくらい
Okay,
の
bye.
時間に連絡
Bye,
し
Shion. Hang up the phone. Okay, bye.
それをもって私の安否確認としてく
No
だ
one
さい。
cares. Goodbye. Goodbye, Shion.
わかった。待ってる。じゃあな。すまん。切るぞ。
Put down the receiver without waiting for Shion to say goodbye. Danger to Shion and myself was secondary at this point. My sixth sense was blaring alarms in my head. I don't like this feeling. It's really bad. It's definitely bad.
くそ。無事でいてくれ。リカちゃん。
Ah. Cliffhanger? I hope my Rika-chan is safe. It's my fault. I encouraged him. I said we should tell her everything. Two new tips. Scrapbook and their punishment isn't over, question mark? So let's see. Your new tips. It says the three families in modern times. As previously described, the three families council today is a mere shell of democracy. In reality, it is a dictatorship run by the Sonozaki family. Both the Kimiyoshi and Furude families are far from their former glory, and doesn't seem at all like they've maintained their ancient traditions. Only the Sonozaki family has retained their glory from the past, and has inherited many colorful traditions from the age known as Onigafuchi village. Even the most recent, verifiable example of Watanagashi that occurred at the end of the Meiji era seems to have been done under the orders of the Sonozaki family. Refer to the three families' genealogical tree from the late Meiji. After the start of the Meiji era, the Sonozaki family wanted to push the development of Hinamizawa village, so they took a strong role in leadership. During the Dam Wars a few years ago, the Kimiyoshi family served as the chair of the opposition alliance, but this was in name only. In actuality, the Sonozaki family reigned as leader behind the scenes. People whispered that perhaps the Kimiyoshi family dictated acts of opposition that could not be publicized, and the Sonozaki family enacted those which could not. Even in Hinamizawa, they whispered that the multitude of unsettling incidents reported during the dam protests, such as the kidnapping of the famous head of the Ministry of Construction's son, had been carried out by the Sonozakis. Additionally, they say that perhaps the Sonozaki family's secret maneuvering was responsible for the serial freak death incidents that have continuously occurred in recent years as well. The serial... I like that term. The serial freak death incidents. That's going to be the name of my cover band. The serial freak death incidents are without a doubt the second coming of the traditional Watanagashi. They must be enacting the Watanagashi on the day of the original Watanagashi, which has fallen to the level of an ordinary village festival, in order to remind the villagers of the holy laws of Onigafuchi village. It's safe to assert that exploring the Sonozaki family is the fastest route for researching it today. If I can expose the contents of the Furude Shrine storehouse, I'd like to narrow my research target to the Sonozaki family next. The Sonozaki house is strictly guarded by security cameras on the premises, but thankfully I've become acquainted with the sisters Mion, the next heir, and Shion. I want this to be a breakthrough. I can connect my next line of research. So, in addition to wanting to break into the shrine storehouse, Takano was also investigating the Sonozaki family, and then she wound up dead. So, I mean, that lends credence to the fact that maybe Mion's family was involved, because she was digging up a lot of dirt.
いえいえ、気にしないでくださいよ。このなぜか年計のガソリンスタンドの請求書に化けちゃうんですよ。だから遠慮しないでもう一杯飲んでいけばいいのに。
The man, red-faced, waved his hand to say that he had enough and disappeared into the brilliant neon lights in front of the station.
クマちゃんも勉強しといてくださいよ。謙虚な人が結局一番長生きするんです。
さっきの話。
さて、それはわからないですけどね。
そんなのが村長を狙う動機になりうるんすかね。
クマちゃん、いつも言ってるでしょ。動機っていうのはその本人に十分でありさえすれば足りるんです。価値観の違いをよく考えなくちゃ。あ、お母さん、もう一杯ください。
Though we had been suppressing the information, Tomataki and Takuno's deaths were already known throughout Hinamizawa. All the rumors pointed to them having incurred the wrath of Oyashiro-sama for setting foot in the Forbidden Temple, the storehouse for ritual implements. According to the rumors, there were two other people who went in there with them, Shion Sonozaki and Keiichi Maibara. Like, everybody knows that we were in there. This is such a small village, like, everybody's in our business. People were whispering in the shadows that those two would be cursed by Yoshiro-sama as well. Apparently, however, the responsibility didn't fall solely on the four trespassers' shoulders. Until last year, it was locked up tight, but this year it had been changed to a simpler lock. Hadn't that been what allowed thieves to enter so easily? Who changed the lock? Those are the rumors going around.
クマちゃんは見たことありませんか。私はずいぶん前に何かの用で行った時に見たことをよく覚えてますよ。
すみません。
Could that be one of the reasons why Kimiyoshi disappeared? Did he have something to do with the lock?
くらいに厳重に施錠してありましたね。重そうな缶抜きでどっかりと塞がれていて、まるで大金庫みたいに厳重な蔵だったんです。
This year it was a very simple and cheap padlock. The lone girl protecting the shrine, Rika Furude, disliked the heavy locks and consulted with the mayor, who had replaced it with a simpler padlock. Oh no!
だから村長とフルデリカも同罪ってことなんですか。だとしたら村長に続いてフルデリカもまずいじゃないですか。
その可能性は大ですね。
Oh no!
クマちゃん、hinamizawaを巡回している覆面者に至急連絡。これで神社近辺に張り付かしてくれ。
Please protect my Rika.
了解っす。
So that's why the mayor went missing. That was a really good tip. I like these tips. I like the fact that they add more credence to the story. Because we can sit here and speculate all we want to, but... So the cheap security on the shrine is what got the mayor to be demoned away. So maybe Keiichi and Shion are, like, gonna be safe. Because... I have no idea. That was really good. I really like that tip. That was cool. Okay, so this has been episode 9, I think, we're on for the Watanagashi chapter. So in our next chapter, I guess we're going to find out what's going on with Rika. Hopefully she's safe. And we'll see who else gets spirited away or if any more murders occur. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I will catch you for the next one. Peace.